Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. The last couple of days, we have been establishing where the Bitcoin and XRP prices are going to go. One of the things we had established was that this area right here at about 15.6 thousand was going to act as some heavy resistance. Now, as a couple of days have passed on, we see exactly that at this point, the prices have kind of turned around, and thus, we're going to have some struggles right here. And now the big question is going to be, are we going to fall down all the way to 13.8, all the way to the next support at about 13.3, or all the way down to the first fib level at 12.5? Now, it is pretty interesting because this is a look on the daily, but if we take a look at the weekly, I think it is pretty clear to see that this right here is the last resistance zone to clear before we can go to an all-time high, and this right here is acting as a likely range low support zone at about 11.6 to about 12.1. Depends, but another fun thing I've kind of seen right here is if we plot the Fibonacci from the start of this last move in March up till the all-time high that we've kind of seen right now, so the high we've seen now, is that the 0.786 is falling exactly on this 13.3 here, which we've also seen on the daily is going to be acting as a pretty important level. So, in my opinion, this 13.3 is the most important one to watch for. However, I think it's more likely that from right now we're actually going to continue this move, or we're going to be seeing something like we've seen before where XRP to BTC is going to be taken over. Now, why am I saying that? Well, more about that in just a second, but my question of today here, guys, is what do you think we're going to do? All right, do you think Bitcoin is going to reach all-time high in this big run-up? Or do you think we're not there yet? We're not ready. And the same question applies to XRP. Do you guys think we'll go to all-time high, or are we not ready yet? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, check out the Growth Masters Academy. I post some tips on earning money on here. It's quite easy, I think, to make some money on the side, so check it out. It's all for you. Having said that, if we take a look at XRP to USD, again, our prediction is accurate to the freaking dot, which I find kind of scary because we've never had some accurate predictions like this. Literally everything we've been talking about in the last couple of days, talking about VeChain, talking about Stellar, talking about ADA, talking about XRP, and even Bitcoin were exactly as we planned it. That doesn't happen that often, all right? I am not a genius. We just got a little bit lucky right here. But what we predicted was that a couple of days ago, we saw that this was most likely going to be the end of the downtrend, at least the end of the newer trend that was formed. There were a couple of scenarios that could have developed. However, what we established earlier, and if you guys have been checking out my videos here, you know that these were two very interesting zones, all right? We made those probably a couple of months ago already, or at least a couple of weeks ago. And what they've kind of shown us is that we're most likely going to stay within this top range for right now, right? Until there's a heavy break. And mind you, I did not change this at all, right? But you can clearly see that it's already getting themselves some trouble at the top here. You know, it's trying to, but it's just not getting above there, which is about 25.9 to 26 cents. So that's definitely a big hurdle for XRP. But if we get past that, then it's all the way clear up to about 26.5, which it might have hit on a couple of exchanges, but we've not really established a basis there. If we break that one, it's most likely some clear way all the way to about 28.3, and then the next one is most likely going to be at about 29 cents. But I expect that if this zone right here now can be cleared, you can see how many times it has already tried to do that, and right now we're on the, I guess, same page we were at a couple of weeks ago. If we break this right now, in my opinion, there's a good chance that we got a reversal trend on the short term. As we can see here, we got ourselves a positive trend going on, which kind of switched over, or at least it looked like it did that. However, this could have been just a drawback or a fake, meaning that either this one, I guess, would not really count, and we're counting the bigger moves here, meaning this is one, maybe this could have been as a 2, and this might be a 3. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because this right here dipped lower than this dip right here, or the low, which means that the trend has kind of reversed, right? Because we're not seeing consecutive higher lows. We're seeing now all of a sudden a lower low, which is kind of strange to see right there. But I would say that the macro is going to depend exactly how this is going to develop, or we have switched the trend downwards. At least that was something we thought about a couple of days ago. Yet when we saw this green candle forming here, I already have my suspicions on that, as if we extend this line, is there a simple way to do that? I don't know. If we extend this line, you can see, well, we've broken right past the supposed downtrend that was possibly forming. I think we actually established this on the 4-hour, what the line was supposed to look like. But it broke right past that, most likely changing over the trend, because this is a very strong move, all right? If we're looking at volume, I'm not going to say it's very, very strong, but it's definitely not weak. It's definitely not weak. And I'm looking and thinking it's in the clear, all right? We've established that this right now ain't gonna cut it, all right? This zone, it won't go down. So we're going up, and where exactly? Well, I'm thinking this is gonna be a very big zone at about 26 cents, then another one at about 26.5, and then most likely we're all the way in a clear to about 29 cents, which I'm expecting is going to happen. And another basis for my conclusions here, because you might think I'm a lunatic, are for a good part that there is a chance that we're gonna see what happened a couple of years ago already, or a couple of times in the meantime here. It has also happened where XRP to Bitcoin switches up. And that's what we're waiting for. That's exactly what we're waiting for here. Because if that were to happen, oh, we're in the clear. All right, because that would mean that XRP to US dollar, so this price right now, is just at the start of a way bigger move, all right? It means that Bitcoin right now got themselves the gains, but they're transferring all those gains they've accumulated over into altcoins. People who have been buying Bitcoin are selling it for some altcoins to further on those gains, like what happened a couple of years ago. What could possibly be happening right now, it could have started about midnight just now. A couple of hours ago, it could have started, all right? It looks like this is just a very, very big low, right? And it could be that this is the lowest point we're going to hit. Again, guys, we could be completely wrong here, as this is not concrete. There's no concrete evidence backing this claim right here. But since we've been going down so long, so consecutively, all the way since August 3rd here, just harsh downfall, there's a good chance we've seen rock bottom right now. But it's also depending on what Bitcoin is going to be doing. Of course, if the retail investors now come in heavily, and there are some signs for that, as there are a couple of whales that are getting heavily into crypto. Here it says Bitcoin will stomp crypto market, send exchanges into danger zone. Well, it's very important to know that right now whales are making their decisions. There are a lot of whales getting into crypto right now that have stalled for a very long while, but there's also a lot of them selling because, well, they've gotten themselves so much profit right now that they want to secure that a little bit, right? However, as we've seen in my previous video here, the macro is showing, at least in my opinion, that there are a lot of people who are trying to evade the dollar, who are trying to look for a safe haven like gold, like Bitcoin, right? And thus they're buying in, and thus the prices are going up. And thus, since that is going on, plus the retail interest which might come after the election, because consider this, right? Whoever wins, this is definitely by far one of the heaviest elections we have ever seen, and thus the trust in the US dollar will most likely be low. I mean, there's a lot of claims of fraud right there going on right now, which again will put the dollar at a very, very big disadvantage. And knowing that, having that in the back of our head, there is a good chance that a lot of the news, a lot of the media are going to be reporting heavily on Bitcoin once it rolls out, once the new president comes on in, and that could bring another boost into play, which might be the final factor getting Bitcoin all the way to its all-time high. Because as I've said before, the only big hurdle right now is the one we're currently facing exactly to the dot, and that one is all the way up to 16.5, but that's basically all we can really see, all the way up to 19,500. Literally, there's nothing else which is going to be holding this back. This is the only thing. But literally, if we break past this candle, I don't think there's anything. I think it's already going to be mayhem. All right, and if you want a specific point, a specific zone, or a specific line, I would say look for 16.2 thousand exactly, because that's exactly where these two candles ended. Could be an important one, or I guess where this one ended and this one started. Could be a very important one. We're definitely going to be seeing, guys. We're definitely going to be seeing, but it's really interesting if you ask me, all right? The time right now is really, really interesting. Here, Bitcoin scarcity in effect, extreme greed in market as Bitcoin breaks the double barrier with gusto. Well, again, I kind of showed this one already in another video, but it's very important to understand what is going on right now. Scarcity is at an all-time high. People right now are hoarding as there are not that many people who are trying to sell it right now. People don't want to let go of their crypto because they're thinking we're gonna go to all-time high. With XRP, the same situation doesn't yet apply, I think, as we're not into those bigger gains, and many people are not expecting us to go all the way to all-time high because it is 14 or 1500% away still, about 1417. But for Bitcoin, since we're just 30% away, a lot of people right now think this is going to be the move, and nobody wants to let go and get out heavily out of crypto. All right, that's also why I said these whims are causing exchanges into danger zone. It's actually mostly in a positive sense. A lot of these guys want to enter Bitcoin right now. A lot of these guys want to join because it might be too late, all right? Here he's saying something negative, but let's see. He says, Bitcoin whales are active on exchanges. All exchange inflow mean for spot exchanges started touching the danger zone. Above 2 Bitcoin indicates that whales are depositing on exchanges. I'd recommend to keep on eyes on this chart to time when to sell Bitcoin, okay? And that's a reply to his earlier tweet which said, entering a danger zone again. We're not safe from short-term Bitcoin dumping. Buy Bitcoin when exchange inflow mean 24-hour MA goes below 2, I mean. And as you can see a little bit down lower, please don't get me wrong. I'm still long-term bullish, just trying to avoid whale dumping, which I really get, you know, and we got to respect the hustle. We got to respect his opinion by kind of keeping it in the back of our heads, you know. All right, maybe whales are depositing heavily to sell. I'm thinking they're depositing kind of as a precaution for when we get to this all-time high. You know, and maybe he has another benefit in saying this. I don't really know, so I don't want to quote too much on that, but it's something which is interesting to take a look at and something that's interesting to consider. I personally hadn't thought about it, so, you know, everybody their own thing. But if you're asking me really, what do I think is going to happen to Bitcoin? I think there's 2 most likely scenarios. Either we can't breach this zone, so what's going to happen is either, if we check out on a weekly actually, either a move like this is going to happen, where we stay from this zone, go all the way down. Oh, I need to actually take the pencil all the way down here to this area right now, and then back upwards and above, right? That's, I guess, the most likely scenario to occur. Of course, this might happen with some more jittering. The only problem is such a move would most likely take quite a long time since this is a weekly chart, and the trend has been going on for the last 8 months or so. It's just been continuing on. And if we can't breach this zone, we're either going to see a small recovery, or I guess a small correction. Most likely going to be looking something like this. The difficult part is there's not that many big resistances or supports in this area because it's kind of ungrounded territory that we've only seen once. So then the move I would say is either a small correction and we get a wave pattern like this going on where we, again, go something like this, maybe test it once more and then go all the way to the top, or I guess have a little bit more trouble within this little zone right here. That's, again, a little bit of a chance. So what could happen? I guess a second scenario. Another one that I would consider, let's quickly go delete these 2 things if I may. Another one I could consider is, okay, so we're going to be continuing this move all the way till here. We can't get past the zone quite yet, so we're going to go to the bottom of the zone and then breach past it. That's another one to consider. Or another one I would say, Control Z or Command Z, is we're going to go in there, we're going to test it a little bit, we're going to try get above, won't really work, going to go below it and like this. All right, I think those are likely scenarios, but ultimately, I think we're going to go to all-time high this time around. I don't think we're going to be messing around too much just because of how bullish everything is looking right now. It is definitely not a time to be messing around, all right? I kind of am sad we didn't get to buy more, but let's hope, you know, let's hope for crazy times. Let's hope Bitcoin all the way to 50,000. Let's hope XRP all the way to all-time high. I'm very hyped. I'm very excited, but I'll see you guys again in another crypto video because, well, what else do I have to say? I have another one article here. Let me quickly check that one out. The U.S. Justice Department seizes over $1 billion in Bitcoin. One thing I should remember you guys, or remind you guys of, is be careful with your Bitcoin. Be careful with your XRP. Be careful with your crypto. And check out the Growth Masters Academy and subscribe to it. All right, go ahead and check it out. I tell you to do that. If you do it, you'll get a cookie.